Hey, what's up everyone? Tim here from Everyday Tactical Vids. Today I want to talk to you about the OKnife Heron. Check out that knife. Really unique. So a couple details here. At the time of this video, I've got links down below in the description section, and they've got sales from OBuy, which is kind of like an offshoot from OLight, and OKnife is their knife angle or their knife line. And you can use the codes down below in the description section to save 10% off. Yeah, they reached out to me and they're like, hey, you want to check out this knife? And when I saw it, I was like, yes, definitely. So very cool, unique design. I'll roll the info in here on the bottom of the page so you can know the weight, the length, all those different things. But I just want to talk about the knife as far as functionality and use and stuff. I've used it a bit. It's still really clean. I've cleaned it up, you know, purposefully. You can see there's a little bit of wear there, but first off, I don't see this as like a woods knife. I see this as more like an overbuilt utility and EDC knife. So you're probably not going to have tons of mud or, you know, grit and grime from the woods on it. You could probably use it out in the woods. I just don't think of it kind of along that angle so much. But I mean, the first thing that stands out is, I guess, first the sheer size of the blade. I mean, it's just a big honking blade. And you've got multiple grinds there, right? I will tell you, when I got it, it came razor sharp, like really, really sharp, which is great. And because I'm carrying this as an EDC, that's weird, EDC knife, that tip is great for piercing into packages, cutting things open, you know, cutting cordage, things like that. It works really well for... the second thing I noticed about it is that despite the size of it, I was like, this thing doesn't feel heavy in your pocket. It's quite thin. The weight doesn't feel like it's comparable or proportionate to its size. You look at it, you're like, that's going to be a heavy knife. It's just not, and that's I think is really cool. So for some people, that's going to be just too big of a knife for everyday carry. But for me, it's great. It fits in my pocket just fine. Some of the things to show you there: nice deep pocket clip. So you can see we've got only right hand tip up carry. Does have the flipper there. Nice pivot. You can open it with the slot as well if you want to do that. I just think the flipper is the easier way to do it. Because of the size of the handle and the finger guard there, the groove there, you really get good lock-in when you're using the knife. On the pivot, I do like just the nice coloration there. You've got your standard kind of satin finish for the metal, and then you've got the blue on that side and on that side as well. D2 for your steel. You can see that up on the top there probably. Yeah, it says D2. A little bit hard to see on camera, but it is D2 steel. Some people are like, you know, D2, not a huge fan. D2 to me is definitely a better steel overall than your, you know, 8CR, 3CR, 7CR type of steels. Is it my favorite steel? No, but you know, if you get this in S30V or something like that, it's going to be a lot more expensive. So the other thing I'll note here is the blocky, chunky handle, which is very neutral, right? It's got this little cutout here for you to put your hand in or lock your hand in, first two fingers essentially, but it's not very contoured, and I like that. I'm a fan of a neutral handle. That's just my preference for most knives, and for a bigger knife that I'm going to like be grabbing a hold of like this. The Benchmade Osborne series, you know, like I'm trying to remember the number, I want to say 980. But the Osborne series, very thin handle, which is fine. But I'm not going to bear down on that knife. It's just too small, and it's a bit more contoured. This is just a big chunk, and I actually like that for this size knife. Let's talk about the jimping up on the top there. I would call it mild. It's not even to medium. It's definitely not aggressive, but it gives you a chance to, you know, lock your thumb in there as you're cutting things. Again, because this is not something I'm going to be doing tons of feather sticks with. It's going to be cutting rope, cutting packages, some more EDC tasks. Jimping is not a huge deal one way or the other. You also do have this little groove here, so you can get your thumb way out there. I don't know if it's built for that, but you can certainly, if you get your hand locked in here, you can put your thumb out there and bear down. I've got large size hands, just FYI. The other thing I was going to mention was the grinds. So obviously you've got one grind here and then a different angle here. So when you first look at it, you're like one grind here, another grind here. But when you actually get the close up there, you see it's all just really, I mean, there's a difference in thickness from here to here, but it's really all just one edge. So the sharpening process should be very easy for you. Because there's no curve, you can use different types of sharpening stones or things. I tend to prefer a sharpening rod just in general. I use that for anything that's got lots of curves or recurve, but for this, shing, 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 touch it up, we're good to go. So I think that's kind of cool. It is thinner, as I noted here, than it is here, which is kind of interesting that you have a tip that's a little bit thicker. So thin tip, a little bit thicker, and then thins out here as well. I think because of the length of your cutting edge too, that gives you a little bit different functionality. You can just slice through things, and then you've also got this thinner side where you can push down, not feather sticks, but necessarily if you're not out in the woods, but other things if you wanted to cut like that. So at the time of this video, you can get this for 52 bucks. It normally runs 65, so you're gonna save yourself some cash there, which is nice. You do get the little carrying pouch with it, which is nice. Knife. You also get the cleaning cloth there, and then you get this cool patch as well, which is pretty neat. So that's going up on my my patch board, which is you'll see that in some videos probably sometimes. But overall, I think it's a cool knife. It's not for everybody. It's big and chunky, and there's going to be some people who are like, I like something way more simple and streamlined. I bet you my buddy Ben from nafs.com, he'd be like, way overkill. To me, the thing that stood out again is that it's light despite its size. When a knife is big and chunky, I don't mind that, but if it's big, chunky, and heavy, that gets a little bit less likely I'm going to carry it. But this one, as it is, it's awesome. So I've really liked carrying it. Like I said, I've used it for EDC tasks. I could roll in footage here of me cutting rope and boxes and stuff. Sometimes, actually a lot of times in videos I do that. This time I'm not going to, but it's worked well. Again, particularly that piercing tip to get into things and slice open boxes and packages has been great. But yeah, one day I think I was actually carrying this and an O-light. So I was an O-light flashlight. So I was on like the OKnife O-light family. But I've got links down below if you want to head over and pick up one of these knives. Let me know your thoughts. I mean, obviously, if you've never carried it and used it, you can't talk about functionality, but what do you even think about the look and the style of it? Is that your jam? You're like, no, absolutely not. I do find OKnife is putting out some pretty standard designs and then things that are pretty far out of the box. So I kind of like that mix of here's a basic, simple design and then things that are, woo, I'm thinking differently about knives when I see that one. So let's hear your thoughts on this knife, and let's get the conversation started in the comment section now. All right, guys, thanks as always for checking out the videos here on YouTube. Please subscribe to Everyday Tactical Vids if you haven't done so already. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, check us out on Instagram, Tumblr, and Bureau as well. More videos coming soon. Take care.